Hello everybody and welcome to a Replica Airguns BB pistol tabletop review. Today we're focusing in on the Umarex Makarov Ultra Legends CO2 blowback BB pistol. You'll notice I have two pistols here. I have the predecessor from Umarex, this is the standard Makarov, and then right beside it we have the Makarov Ultra, and they actually say Makarov, Makarov Ultra, so this is the Legends series here. The reason I have them out is because I will be comparing them a little bit. Not overly, but I'll be going a little bit back and forth. I might show you the old style Umarex Makarov versus the new one, and I'm also going to bring in my Bakal Makarov just to show you the differences between the PM versus the PMM version. Alright, so let's get started. So this Makarov Ultra is a replica of a Makarov PM, which is the single stack magazine version, and this pistol is made in Taiwan. It comes in this nice box here. Well, they both do, but this is the packaging. Right there, 350 FPS, 16 round. I did notice I could put 17 in it. Blowback, full metal, 12 gram CO2, steel BBs, 4.5 millimeter. Alright, so that's the other side. Let's take a quick look at the back. Alright. And of course it does come with a little manual. We'll quickly look at that. Alright, your basic instructions, how to use the gun, what not to do, how to aim. Okay, usually there'll be a few different languages. Warranty information. Alright, so some quick specifications. The Umarex Makarov Ultra is a blowback BB pistol. The slide does lock back after the last shot. It's an all-metal pistol. Of course, it does have some plastic parts, they all do, but mostly metal throughout. This BB pistol uses 12 gram CO2 cartridges. It shoots 4.5 millimeter steel BBs. The magazine holds the CO2 and roughly 16 to 17 shots per BB fill. Of course, you'll get more than that out of the CO2, probably around 80 shots. The barrel is smooth bore. This pistol shoots in single action only and has a claimed FPS of 350 FPS. Now don't forget to check out my field test for this pistol, where I put it through the chronograph and also put 10 rounds on a paper target. I will be talking a little bit more about that in a bit here. The CO2 pistol also has a full-size dropout magazine. Again, it holds the BBs and the CO2, and I'll be showing you that again when I do a quick walk around. And you'll notice this 4.5 millimeter BB pistol also has Makarov licensing on it. Let's quickly do our comparison. So you've seen the boxes, so let's quickly look at the box. The boxes are kind of the same size, same basic stuff. Not that important. Alright, so these pistols are very close in size and weight. They're about 1.4 pounds, maybe 1.5 pounds roughly. They're both really metal pistols. One of the differences you'll notice here is working slide catch release. No working slide catch release on the older version. This gun does have a working slide, but it's not blowback. Both of the guns are field strippable. I'll show you that with the Ultra in a bit here. Both of them have the CO2 tabs. But you'll notice that one has a stick mag, one has a dropout metal mag, or not quite metal, but there is metal in it. It's sort of metal plastic, but it's full-size CO2 and BBs versus just BBs. Alright, this one, to get to the CO2, you slide her back. To get to the CO2 on this guy, you pull the whole thing out. I'll go on that in a bit. They both have working safeties, although they're not exactly true to what they would be like. So there's no CO2 in this gun, as you can see. So this gun has more of a traditional double or single action, double action. So there's your double action, pull the hammer back, single action with the shorter take up. You see that, right? Okay, with a working safety that actually disables the trigger. This guy, on the other hand, I'm going to take the magazine out because there is CO2 in this gun. So when you pull it back, you'll notice that there's no double action. First of all, when you pull the hammer back, the trigger doesn't come back at all. You still have to go the full pull length, but the actual take-up is very light, and what's happening in the take-up is this is moving forward, and I'll explain that in a bit when I show you the magazine in more detail, but this moves forward to pull a BB into the chamber essentially, and then the last part is the release. Okay, you do have an actual working safety in both positions, but you still have trigger take-up. Doesn't disengage it, it just basically stops it from firing. And you can also put the safety on when it's basically an off, but it doesn't really matter because if you pull the hammer back, it takes it off safety. Kind of interesting. Slide catch release does work. Okay, we'll show you some blowback real quick. Well, we'll get into that later when I show the gun around. Kind of doing a comparison right now. You'll notice the finishes are different, but they're really almost like they're cast from similar molds. Both have fixed sights. Very, very similar though. Again, weight, feel, everything. Both of them are field strippable. So let's get that one out of here for now, the old school one. And here we have, and I'm going to show you the difference here. Notice here, this is my Bakal Makarov. And you'll notice it has a wider grip because it's the PMM version. Basically, it's a copy or replica of the double stack magazine version of the Makarov. Pull that out, and you'll notice that the magazine's fairly wide. It's the same shape as a double stack, would sort of taper out here. And this gun is made by Bakal. Very, very realistic gun. Very heavy. No blowback, but very heavy slide. All real steel too. All weapons grade steel. So very high quality, very authentic looking pistol. Again, check out the review for my Bakal MP65 4K Makarov. Very nice pistol. Alright, so at this point let's just do a quick walk around. I've sort of shown you around already, but we'll go over it just on its own here. And so there's your, I'll just sort of show you around the gun first. There's your licensing, okay. And the safety does work when the hammer's back, but it is a little tight at first. I noticed I had to kind of really, almost seems like you have to force it, but it does work. Okay, and then it just disengages the trigger internally. Gun is field strippable, show you that in a second. And you do have your magazine release right there. Here's your magazine, okay, 177s. And so this is what happens. I want to show you this. Okay, so the reason that the trigger is long, even in double or in single action, is because when you pull the first part of the trigger, so there's a BB right in there, this stack is pushing them up, the follower is pushing them up, a BB would be right there. This part pushes the BB into the breech or into the barrel, and that is why there's a long trigger. So what's happening here is it's pushing the BB into the barrel, into the breech, and instead of some CO2 going down the magazine and escaping, so you're going to have higher FPS and more shots per CO2 this way, more efficiency. But you do get a little bit of grabby or bindiness here. Some people are saying lubricate this whole area and you won't notice it as much, but that's what's happening. Again, this little guy, when you pull the trigger, pushes that whole stack forward, right? This whole mechanism forward. That's how that's working, okay? Again, load your BBs. You can load them from the bottom there and then just pop your follower up. Okay. CO2 goes in here. You have your CO2 tab. Pretty basic. Now you'll notice there's no BBs in this gun, but I'm going to point it in a safe direction anyways. And we're going to hold the slide catch release down because there's nothing in it. So there's no BBs. It's going to want to stay back. So let's try this out. Okay, now if I take my hand off the slide catch release, it'll lock back. There it is. Okay, very cool. You'll notice that the barrel is not recessed, so the metal barrel goes all the way to the end. Gets a little more FPS that way. Okay, let's see inside the gun here. Alright, license, serial number. Okay, very nice. There's your sights. They're fixed. Alright, let's field strip this gun real quick here. Take the mag out. Always easier if you put it off safe. Pull the hammer back. You pull this down, back, and up, and that's it. So there's your metal slide. Okay, that's part of the blowback. That just creates the pressure in there. That's the seal for the blowback there. There's your firing pin. Okay, take a look inside. There's that part that moves forward, the trigger. So there's the blowback chamber there. That's where some of the pressure goes to make the blowback happen. Your hammer, spring. Okay, put it back together. Alright, should be it. Okay, you have to pull this down to go the rest of the way, I believe. There he is. Okay, so yeah, you got to pull that down if you want it to go all the way forward. And that's it. Put your magazine in, and we should be good to go. There it is. Alright, again, check out my field test review for this pistol. Here's the target from it, and I'll let you know we did get pretty good, decent FPS. It wasn't a super warm day. Umarex says about 350 FPS. I got 333 with my 5-shot test. I got a nice grouping here. They were all, so there's one up there, one down here, one over here. So if this one wasn't here, it would have been about a 1.5 inch group, but it sort of straighted it out a bit. About 1.5 inches to there, about 2 inches to there, from here to there. Still, a decent group. I was 30 feet back, semi-rested position. Again, check out that field test review for this gun. I also talk a little bit about how it fires, and I'll just let you know it has really great blowback. The trigger's pretty decent, even though it's a bit long, but it's still a good trigger. Alright, so let's talk about the pros and the cons, and then we'll wrap up this tabletop review. So some of the pros first. Overall, this gun is well priced at about $99 in our Canada store right now, a little bit less in the US store. And that price may change depending on when you watch this video. So don't say, hey, why is it 120 bucks now? It's called inflation. This Umarex Makarov also got pretty decent accuracy combined with power, combined with CO2 usage. Overall, pretty decent gun to shoot. Again, it's a nice replica of the original Makarov PM. I also felt it had really good blowback action, nice snappy kick to it. I like that it has a working slide catch release and a realistic working safety. It's nice that Umarex decided to go with a full-size dropout magazine that holds both the BBs and the CO2 this time. And again, this gun can be field stripped just like the original Makarov and the original Umarex Makarov. I like that this pistol is also licensed, has the Makarov licensing on it. And you'll notice when I compared the Legends Ultra Makarov to the original Umarex Makarov, I would say the finish is a lot nicer, not so glossy. Alright, a couple cons for this pistol that I had. Again, there was that CO2 tab on the bottom of the magazine that isn't exactly accurate to the original. And like the original Umarex Makarov, the barrel is not recessed, probably because the barrel's fairly short and they wanted to have as long a barrel length as possible. If they recessed it, say a ½ an inch, you're going to lose FPS performance. Now because of the way that the magazine is set up, so that when the first part of the trigger is pulled, you're chambering a BB, it does have a little bit of a long trigger pull, not really true to form for your typical single action trigger, but overall it felt okay. And if you're a real stickler for details, the real Makarov, when you put the safety on, if the hammer's back, it'll actually drop the hammer, so it works like a decocker. And that's not going to happen with the Umarex Makarov Legends version. Alright, don't forget to pick one of these up in either our Canada or US online replica airgun stores. I'll put some links in the description of this video here on my YouTube channel. I'll also put a link in the description over to the Replica Airguns website where you can check out my written review for this along with some pictures, so make sure to go there. We also have our Canada and US stores located over at replicaairguns.com and replicaairguns.ca. Don't forget to subscribe before you head out. Also check us out on Facebook and Twitter. Username is Replica Airguns. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.